In number 8, we're asked to find the points of intersection between the lines if they exist. So the first thing you kind of want to know is, well, are these lines parallel to each other, or are they coincident with each other? Because if that's true, they either don't meet at all, parallel, or they meet all the time, coincident. So the best thing to do is compare your direction vectors. Now, it can be a little tricky when they're not in the same format, so I would suggest putting them in the same format. So I noticed about line 1 in part A here that it's in vector form. So let's put it into parametric form just to make our life more comparable. So we get 3 plus 4s, and y equals 1 minus s, and z equals 5 plus 2s. Well, comparing my directions there, 4, negative 1, and 2, I notice that's very different from 13, negative 5, and 5, which tells me those aren't collinear, they're not scalar multiples, they're going to have to meet somewhere. Well, the point where they meet, they have to have the same x values. In other words, the parametric equations should be equal at some point. So I'm going to take my two parametric equations for x, which is 3 plus 4s for line 1, and I'm going to make it equal to 4 plus 13t for line 2. Same thing for my y's. So 1 minus s should equal 1 minus 5t. And same thing for the z's. 5 plus 2s should equal 5t. And because I have three equations but only two variables, I'm going to solve two and check the third. You're picking which ones you want to solve. To make it slightly easier to work with, let's put them in the right format for elimination. So 4s minus 13t equals 1. If I do this one here, I get 0 equals s minus 5t. And the last one, I get 2s minus 5t equals negative 5. Okay, now let's pick two. Which two do you want to work with? I'm going to use the first one, so this one, and the second one. But I need to multiply to make them, actually, the other way around. I'm going to multiply this one to make it easier to do my elimination. So I'm going to take this equation here, I'm going to times it by 4, so my letter S is the same. So, let's move that line there. 4 times 0, it's 0, let's put it on the right-hand side now. 4 times S is 4S. 4 times negative 5t is negative 20t. My s's are the same, so I'm going to subtract. Negative 30 minus negative 20 is 7t. And 1 minus 0 is 0. Sorry, not 0. That's 1. And t has to be 1/7. Now that I got t, I can go back and figure out what s is. I think it's probably preferable to use this equation to do that. So 0 equals s minus 5 times t. T is 1/7. And s's and 5s are sort of hard to tell apart sometimes, right? So this is an s. And minus 5/7. So in other words, s is 5/7. Okay, I'm going to check the third one just to make sure I did my math right, because if they're meeting, they have to satisfy the third equation. So 2s, so 2 times 5/7 minus 5 times 1/7. Let's go to negative 5. So I get 10/7 minus 5/7 equals negative 5. And what do I notice? I get 5/7. That doesn't equal negative 5. So what's that telling me about these two lines? I thought they would meet at 1/7 and 5/7, but when I tried my third equation, it turned out those parameters didn't work. So this is your fourth option, right? Option 1 was they're parallel. Option 2 was they're coincident. Option 3 is they meet at a point. Option 4, which you've come across here, these are skew lines. They don't meet at all. Okay? There's no value of s and t that can make this work. If I put in my 1/7 for t into my z equation, I get a different value than if I put my 5/7 in for s. There's a difference there. That can happen sometimes. Common mistake is you may have made a mistake in your math, and you're like, I'm not sure. In fact, you may have noticed I paused it just to check on my math. But it is possible you end up with skew lines. Okay? Let's try B. Same ideas. Where do they meet if they do? Parallel, coincident, they meet at a point, or the weird one, they're skew. So check your directions first. So this is an easy one to check. I can tell those are definitely not parallel to each other. So parallel, coincident, out the door right off the bat. So my only other options are meet at a point or skew. So let's see what happens. I'm going to set my parameters. So we're doing B here. X equals, we're going to do 3 plus m. I'm going to do the other one right underneath it, okay? So negative 3 plus 7s. X equals negative 3 plus 7s. The y's will be 7 minus 6m. 7 minus 6m. And the other y was 2 minus s. And my z's are 2 and 8 minus 16. Z equals 2 and z equals 8. 8 minus 6t. Okay, there's our 3 equations. We're going to try and make them a little bit easier to work with just for a second. So let's rewrite them. 3 plus m equals negative 3 plus 7s. Or in other words, m minus 7s equals negative 6. Do the same thing with the y's. So m, we want to make it positive. So I'm going to bring the m to this side and bring the 2 back to the other side. So I get 5. And the nice thing with z is z only has one variable in it. So I suggest we solve z right off the bat because t is 1. Once I got that, oh, I got t's in there. Sorry, these should be s's, right? We're using the letter s in this question. Fix that real quick. Okay, these are s's. S, 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 and S. Okay, once we've got that, pick one of your other 2 equations. Maybe this one. 5 equals 6m minus s. Oh, minus 1. So 6 equals 6m. So m should be 1. And then take those 2 and check the third. So our check is 1 minus 7s, s is 1, equals negative 6. Okay, negative 6 equals negative 6. Hey, I got the right values. My s is 1, my m is 1. Those will work. These things intersect at some point. What is our POI? Well, our POI, I got to figure it out now. So x equals, I can pick either of the x equations. Let's pick the 3 plus m one. So 3 plus m, what did we say m was? M was 1. So x is 4. Y equals 7 minus 6m, or, just put this back here for a second, that's 3 plus m, right? Or y, let's do 2 minus s, that one's easier to work with, so 2 minus 1 is 1. And z equals 2. Hey, here's my x, here's my y, there's my z, therefore, my POI is 4, 1, and 2. And if you're still not positive about that, use the other equation to check your values. So if I used this equation, but use my s as 1, I get negative 3 plus 7, which is 4, so that's right. If I use this equation, because I use the other one in my answer, and try m as 1, 7 minus 6 is 1, yep. And if I used, I don't know, this equation, even though I know y is 2, sorry, z is 2, that's kind of a giveaway. If s is 1, 8 minus 6 is 2. Hey, I know it's the right answer. There's my POI.